I'm sorry, I'm not used to crowds being so polite. I'm frankly amazed. And you all sat down in your pews and just went, okay, let me start. I'm very used to my audiences just being, but you're all here and you're all very neatly gathered, so we were going to just try and sneak it up on you and then be like, we're going to pay now, but now we're going to start, I think. All right. There are no vacancies for someone to supervise the sun as he lowers himself behind the hills, slowly like he's got your father's bad knees and ashy grimace. And this morning, I didn't need to tell you that. Clouds pass over you like a chugger on a wide high street, and you're trying to tell them, look, you've got silver. And they don't have the voice to ignore you, or understand that you can save the planet, that you have a vote that counts, that you contribute, that you can contribute. I know the opening hours of your wounds. The lights stay on inside you, and when you say you can't take any more of this, you're stalling to find new, huddled empties, what we can call what is left of us. Welcome. Well, thank you all for coming along and filling all the pews. Robin. How could you? I will be doing that because it's a small crowd and it's one of the few joys I get. Very fun to pick people out of the audience, especially because that's one of everybody's few nightmares. Just, oh God, audience participation. But yes, so this is the reading for Good Listeners. Good Listeners is my debut pamphlet, which basically means a very, very small book. But don't call it that because it will hurt its feelings. So there's only, we won't be doing all of them tonight, obviously. Put your hands up if you've never been to a poetry reading. Wow, none of you could make excuses not to come. Wow, that's pretty well done for showing up. That's actually a very brave thing to do, because I know some people, if you tell them, oh, you want to come to a poetry night, it's very hard to hide your immediate reaction. Yes, of course, that's one thing. Of course I want to do that on Saturday night. So this next poem, we're going to carry on. I should probably introduce everyone that's around me. This is my wonderful violinist, Ishtara Veen. Yes, that's very well deserved. They are an extraordinarily talented musician, and this is our cameraman, Rhys Ashton Tucker. And also give him a clap. He's a very fine fellow, and he'll be mostly filming me, but he'll also might be filming a few of you at the end of this. If you so permit him to film you, of course. If you don't want to be, just run away screaming. That's the secret. So the next one we're going to do is a bit of a downer poem. It's called Pavement, and this is about my experience when I was in university. I had a very good friend called Shuggy. Shuggy was 6'5", very broad, bold man, always in his army fatigues, and very, gravelly Wiltshire accent, and but had the heart of a puppy dog, basically. Unfortunately, Shuggy passed away. He had to pay from cardiac arrest outside a furniture shop, and he was homeless. And I think about him pretty often. And this is the poem I wrote for him. It's called Pavement. He gave me the mistakes with hands he reserved for injured birds. couldn't hear the words at first, but it was okay. It was just drugs. I didn't care what tattoos he had, or how many faces he had to count before he went to sleep. I don't think he heard me. I don't think he could. He always had tea lights. He would listen for his name when I went walking at night. His soul could feel through the holes in his boots. It paid no mind that he made them and where he'd taken them. Thank God he wasn't going to move for anyone. It was his street, it still is. If ghosts can walk through walls, they can take up pavement, and that is our problem. I don't care if it wasn't enough, I knew him. He shook with courage, a sparrow's heart, a throng of regrets. He was made of little songs, 1,000 sorries roosting together to keep warm. I will not flinch. I will not make way for an ending. There is time and kindness, and we are so abundant in them. We should know what to do. We buried a loved man who thought he didn't deserve us. Something I believe a bit jollier now. This is called Moments. It's pretty much what it says on the tin, this poem, but it's mainly about just sometimes existing in a space and you're not, you sometimes have to explain yourself and you're not expecting to explain yourself, and you can see everyone looking at you and you're like, oh God, all of these people know my life story just by looking at me. I'm not sure if everyone's had that experience, but I'm sure some of you can relate to someone looking at you and immediately making a flash judgment, which is not an easy thing to necessarily go through. It also takes place in a Waitrose, so it's, you know, that's sometimes a nice place to be. They have very good apple juice from what I've been told. This is called Moments. I am in Waitrose, queuing because it's too far to walk to Lidl, and because I want apple juice now. And I have just accidentally punched myself in the face because a loud noise happened. And then it is 6 years ago again. I'm flat on my back, staring up at a bone white ceiling. Under the snarling and shivering, I am buried, and then I finally feel it. My face going from dry to wet, dust settling. It hadn't rained in that 100 years silence until I'd learnt what a curse was and felt too heavy to lift it. It is funny when it takes you, and your collarbone is crunching into your throat, shunting your headphones under your jaw, then your fist fills your eye socket in a space of a few barren seconds. It is a landscape rearranging itself, and something I was told to expect in another white room. It is about 30 seconds until anyone speaks. I can't find the words for the moment as it took me, and my hair and now body took it back. I love it very much for that. They can see me now, sun-bleached, untouched, the calcified parts of me flaking away. I am in Waitrose, convincing the couple in front of me that I'm okay and they'll be fine. I think they needed to be told that. I just hit myself in the face. What more could you want from your anecdote? And then they get to leave. I play my music again. Archaeology shifts awkwardly under my clothes. Everyone can see all the way down through my limestone and diatoms and glaciers. It must be fascinating. My shoulders are chasms. They apologise. I apologise. Thank you. Familiar with Town Street. Hey, some locals in the building. How about that? Yeah, so Street is one of my favourite places to be. It's got a hell of a name for a town. It makes it very hard to tell people when I went to university where I actually came from. Street. It's a road, yeah, so saying that you were born in the street is a bit of a weird one. So yes, you might have noticed that street has gone a little bit downhill in the last few years, and not say last few years, but last decade or so, partially because, well, you know, the whole economy malarkey, and that's, you know, not very easy for anyone to be a cope with, and it makes me sad to walk through this town, which is usually bustling with a lot of locals, and it's still finding a lot of trouble getting back up on its feet, but I still love being there. So this is called Street.
Circulation system just as spoons, a CEX and a British Heart Foundation. I gave them a duvet, 2 small shirts today. The lady said they'd be perfect for a job interview. I walked to the bus stop. I own the pavement and the murals now scabbed over. I am in a queue with these blessings. May you have the heart of an empty Sainsbury's so that you have the courage to listen to your own footsteps, kick off the walls, all the love in a Neil Diamond song played for no one except from you and the people paid to be here. May your veins be filled with day-old flowers that will live to see the end of the week for nothing. And I tell people this is my hometown. You can hear the dust in the vowels. Sunday hums a song without words behind 2 lips. I see it smiling through the gutted Tesco under eyes. The echoes of a sesh in the underfunded libraries fueled by volunteers. Those old ladies who keep this town bleeding. You can see where you are in the dark windows. Don't let them tell you you're nowhere. Thank you.
So this next one is called Beltaine. Beltaine is the traditional pagan May Day festival, essentially. It's the origin of May Day. And I remember a few years ago, I had a very, very bad Beltaine. If those of you who don't know, I am pagan, and I celebrate the things I haven't been struck down by lightning by saying that in this building, so we should be all fine. Yes, I didn't have a very good Beltaine one year, and I decided to write a poem about how basically I was very much struggling to ground and centre myself, but in the end it was just being in a green world that really brought me back together. So this is Beltaine. Let me in. I'm trying to shove my eyes back into their sockets with their lids. My knuckles are an inside colour from climbing trees. My jaw is tight and this religion is heavy. I haven't made anything today. Let me in. I look up, the sun beams through the green split. I am stuck. There is a raw voice in the canopy. Let me be a habitat. The wind caves in on me and I'm probably going to hell. I shut myself back into this skull like it will fit this time, like I haven't lost my keys and I'm not too wide and 2 legs and a strange pulping muscle keeping time with my mistakes. Let me in. I need to breathe through my fingers. I need to die slower, please. Let me in. It isn't the J cry that brings me out. It's the if, but, yet of the mud. That and the hums of miles through my holy socks. I find the syllable somewhere in me. Home. I don't even knock anymore. Thank you. This is where the title comes in. Finally, a poem where the title finally hits. And it is basically about how often we portray nature as this amazing, perfect thing, but anybody who has seen a dog run into a pair of French windows knows that that's just not a thing. You know that plants can be invasive and can overrun places. We know that, we can have perfectly beautiful flowers planted in exactly the wrong places. We can have, apples can be thrown out of van doors and into a bush, which then leads to a feral apple tree growing the next year. And, many years on, you randomly get a pink lady apple tree in the middle of nowhere. So this is called the Path of Most Resistance, and it's about how we can see ourselves, honestly in nature. So I'll let Ishtara take it away. A hip socket that spits like a green log in a new fire. Knuckles that sympathise with the frustration of grass snapped in the frost. This is all we need to speak with the land. The rock that ticks in the riverbed, the storm stims have been told they're good listeners. Now sing. This is the final poem. It is called A Country. I don't know if you're aware, but we are in England right now, which is not ideal. So I'm not in a great place right now. Well, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm in England. It's not ideal. I think we can all agree, no matter where we align and whatever political direction we are on, we're not happy where we are. And which feels such a shame, because I derive such joy from where I live. Whether that was when I was in Bath and I was really struggling with where I lived, I was still surrounded by many wonderful people who, it upheld that kind of, supportive, community that I love, or whether it was back home. And sometimes, I am surrounded by people I love here as well, gathered all here together. And, I derive such joy by just seeing, the wonderful world around me. And it's a shame that things haven't been going that way. So this is A Country, and I hope that you can all empathise it, and don't worry, it's the last poem. And I hope that you can find something in it, and I want to thank you all tonight for being such a wonderful audience and listening so attentively and patiently. So this is A Country. He tells you he has 3 months of citalopram spare if you need it. I make a wish on him. He is bright.
He is above you, and he might not come back. I only talk to strangers when it is necessary, you lie. Your prayers are getting dusty, and you don't have time for hobbies. Your neighbours don't know your new name. You come to church for the cake and bodies. Your friends are in cities. I am in a kind of city. When you lie in bed, there's a foot traffic. Your thoughts are shortcuts. Your answers roar like tires through rain. They pull together again, and you accept that you'll never see the bottom of them. You go to sleep again. You dream. There is a home. Wind in trees and grey sky beaches, plaques on benches, chats with men in big issue jackets, starlings spasming at the end of summer, tides of stars breaking over autumn clouds, well-lit streets, babies on buses, flustering libraries, open mics, pub hum, carnival, cider, blackbirds, good intentions. You must feel like home. Something has to feel like that trick of the light, and when you look directly at it, it beckons through the phosphenes. Dead friends, deader strangers, sleeping bags, years pass, moon phases, eating themselves until someone somewhere must be full. I reach out, smudged and clingy, wringing my stained fingers. A loneliness of immigrants swarm our promises. You wake up, dark and satanic. You make a precious decision and start walking. Slept in eyeliner, missed at the train station. Everything is vein-coloured and close. Perfect day to go missing. Let the land make a trust fall as I pass, curl up into an anthem and empty seat. I am done with islands. Leave behind the only compromise I've ever known. Let someone inspect you. Find that you are full of hole punches the light has escaped through. You will shine whether you like it